Most people never plan to live an average life. No child grows up saying, "One day I want to be invisible. One day I want to be replaceable. One day I want my potential to expire quietly." And yet, that is exactly how millions of lives unfold, not because of bad luck, not because of lack of talent, but because of small decisions repeated every day until average becomes normal, and normal becomes comfortable, and comfortable becomes a prison. Average is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't attack you in one big moment. Average creeps in silently. It comes disguised as routine, as excuses, as this is just how life is. And the most dangerous thing about being average is this: you don't feel like you're failing. You feel safe. You feel busy. You feel reasonable. And while you feel all these things, your best version slowly starves. What makes you average is not that you are weak. It's that you stop questioning your own limits. You accept rules you never created. You follow paths you never chose. You listen to advice from people who never built the life you want. And slowly, without realizing it, you shrink your dreams to match your environment, instead of expanding your environment to match your dreams. Average thinking begins the moment you outsource responsibility. When life gets hard, average people ask, "Why is this happening to me?" When opportunities disappear, they ask, "Who is to blame?" When progress feels slow, they say, "This system is unfair." But extraordinary people ask a different question: what can I do differently? Responsibility is heavy. That's why most people drop it. But the moment you drop responsibility, you drop power. And a life without power always becomes average. Another reason people remain average is because they confuse movement with progress. They stay busy all day but build nothing meaningful. They attend meetings, scroll endlessly, reply to messages, complain about being tired, and then feel productive. But busyness is not growth. Motion is not direction. If you keep running in circles, you will sweat, but you will never arrive. Average people fill their time. Exceptional people protect it. Average people consume more than they create. They watch more than they practice. They talk more than they execute. They dream more than they discipline. Every day they absorb opinions, entertainment, news, and distractions, but produce nothing of value. Creation is uncomfortable. Consumption is easy. And whatever is easy attracts the majority. That is why the majority remains average. Fear is another silent architect of an average life. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of starting late, fear of being seen trying. So people hide behind perfection. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they have confidence. They wait until conditions are ideal. But confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It is a result of action. Average people wait to feel ready. Successful people move while afraid. Average people also negotiate with their standards. They promise themselves they will wake up early, but hit snooze. They promise they will work on their skill, but feel tired. They promise they will change, but from Monday. Each small broken promise weakens self-trust. And when you don't trust yourself, neither does the world. Respect begins inside. Discipline is self-respect in action. Without it, you become predictable, and predictability without growth is average. Another reason people stay average is because they surround themselves with people who normalize mediocrity. If everyone around you complains, you will complain. If everyone settles, you will settle. If everyone fears change, you will fear it too. Humans adjust to their environment faster than they improve themselves. That is why environment is more powerful than motivation. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And those standards are often set by the people you keep close. Average people seek comfort. Comfort in routine. Comfort in opinions they already agree with. Comfort in avoiding discomfort. But growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Every upgrade requires friction. Muscles grow by tearing. Skills grow by failure. Confidence grows by exposure. Average people avoid pain. Exceptional people use it. Average thinking also shows up in how people handle learning. They want shortcuts without fundamentals, results without patience, rewards without mastery. They jump from one idea to another, one plan to another, one motivation video to another, hoping something will magically change. But consistency beats intensity, mastery beats speed, depth beats noise. Average people chase excitement. Successful people commit to boredom with purpose. One of the biggest reasons people remain average is because they measure themselves incorrectly. They compare their behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. They see success as instant and failure as permanent. This destroys momentum. Progress is not dramatic, it is quiet, repetitive, often invisible. But average people quit because progress doesn't look impressive early on. They underestimate how powerful small improvements become over time. Average people also talk more about problems than solutions. They analyze why something won't work instead of testing how it might. They criticize what they don't understand. They mock what they're afraid to try. Negativity feels intelligent. Cynicism feels safe. Hope feels risky. But nothing extraordinary has ever been built by people who only pointed out flaws. Another trap of average living is emotional reactivity. Average people react to everything. Comments control them, opinions shake them, small setbacks break their focus. They live emotionally, not intentionally. But emotional control is a superpower. When you stay calm, consistent, and focused while others panic, you automatically separate yourself from the average crowd. Average people also misunderstand time. They think they have more of it than they do. They delay dreams, they postpone effort, they assume opportunity will wait. But time is neutral. It doesn't care about your plans. It rewards urgency, not intention. Every year you delay becoming serious is a year someone else uses to pass you. And here is the hardest truth. Average is addictive. It feels safe, it feels accepted, it feels normal. When you try to rise, average people pull you back, not because they hate you, but because your growth challenges their comfort. Breaking the average cycle often means outgrowing familiar versions of yourself and familiar people, and that loneliness scares most people back into sameness. But average is not your destiny. It is a pattern, and patterns can be broken. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, the cycle cracks. The moment you replace excuses with experiments, the cycle weakens. The moment you choose discipline over comfort, creation over consumption, responsibility over complaint, you step out of the average lane. Breaking the cycle does not require talent. It requires courage. Courage to be misunderstood. Courage to be slow. Courage to be bad before you are good. Courage to show up when no one is watching. Courage to keep going when results are invisible. Average people wait for inspiration. Exceptional people build systems. Average people rely on mood. Exceptional people rely on habits. Average people want motivation. Exceptional people design their life so motivation is optional. You don't break the average cycle by doing one big thing once. You break it by doing small, hard things daily when it would be easier not to. You break it by raising your standards quietly, by respecting your time, by keeping promises to yourself, by choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. You were not born to blend in. You were not designed to live on autopilot. You were not created to repeat yesterday forever. People stay average not because they are stupid, unlucky, or incapable. They stay average because average feels safe. Average doesn't ask hard questions. Average doesn't demand uncomfortable decisions. Average doesn't force you to confront who you really are when no one is watching. Average is familiar, and the human brain loves familiarity, even when it is slowly killing potential. Average begins the moment you start living on autopilot. You wake up, check your phone, react to the world, do what is expected, complain a little, dream a little, and repeat. Days blur into months, months blur into years. One day you suddenly realize time moved forward, but you didn't. That's not bad luck, that's unconscious living. Jack Ma once said that most people spend their lives preparing, but very few spend their lives doing. Preparation feels productive, doing feels risky. Average people prepare forever. Another thing that keeps people average is borrowed thinking. You don't think your own thoughts. You repeat what society, friends, family, and social media feed you. You adopt goals you never questioned. You chase definitions of success you never designed. When your thinking is borrowed, your life will always be rented. You will never own it. Extraordinary people think independently even when they are wrong. Average people think collectively even when the crowd is lost. Fear of judgment is another invisible chain. You want to try something, but you imagine people laughing. You want to change, but you imagine people questioning. So you shrink yourself to stay acceptable. The problem is this: the same people you are afraid of disappointing will not come to save you when your life feels empty. Average is the price people pay for approval. Freedom is the reward for those who stop asking permission. One of the biggest reasons people remain average is emotional comfort. They avoid discomfort at all costs. Hard conversations, difficult decisions, boring repetition, slow progress. Emotional discomfort feels dangerous to the mind, so it runs back to entertainment, excuses, and distractions. But growth lives exactly where comfort dies. If your life feels too comfortable, that is not a reward, that is a warning. Average people also mistake movement for progress. They stay busy but don't move forward. Meetings, messages, scrolling, talking, planning, everything except deep work. Deep work is lonely. Deep work is boring. Deep work doesn't give instant praise. That's why most people avoid it. But deep work is where skills are built, confidence is earned, and value is created. You don't escape average by doing more things. You escape average by doing fewer things better. Another cycle that traps people is blaming circumstances: economy, family, background, age, timing. These excuses feel logical, but they quietly remove your power. Jack Ma failed exams, got rejected, started late, and still refused to outsource responsibility. The moment you accept full responsibility, even for things that aren't your fault, you regain control. Average people explain, exceptional people adapt. Breaking the average cycle starts with brutal self-honesty. You must admit where you are lazy, distracted, scared, and inconsistent. Not to shame yourself, but to wake yourself up. You cannot change what you keep defending. Growth begins the moment excuses end. The next step is raising your personal standards, not public standards, not motivational quotes, private standards. What time you wake up when no one is watching, how you work when no one praises you, what you tolerate in relationships, habits, and self-talk. Average people negotiate with their standards. Exceptional people protect them. You also break the cycle by choosing long-term respect over short-term pleasure. Every average habit feels good now and hurts later. Every exceptional habit hurts now and pays later. The choice is daily, small, and invisible. That's why most people miss it. You don't change your life in one decision. You change it by honoring small promises repeatedly. Another powerful shift is learning to sit with discomfort without escaping it. When boredom comes, don't reach for your phone. When fear comes, don't run. When confusion comes, don't quit. Stay, observe, work. This is where mental toughness is built. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect in action. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Jack Ma didn't feel confident first, he acted first. Confidence arrived later. If you wait to feel ready, you will stay average forever. Readiness is a myth. Action creates readiness. Also, stop trying to be balanced all the time. Balance is overrated when you are building something meaningful. Seasons of intensity are required. Average people want results without obsession. Exceptional people accept temporary imbalance for long-term freedom. Your environment matters more than your willpower. If you surround yourself with average conversations, average habits will feel normal. Raise the quality of what you consume. Books, ideas, people, silence. Distance yourself from constant negativity, gossip, and victim talk. You don't need to announce your growth, just protect it. Understand this deeply. Being average is not a permanent state. It is a daily choice, and so is breaking free. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards execution. It doesn't reward intentions, it rewards consistency. You don't need to be special, you need to be committed. One day, years from now, you will look back at this moment. You will either be proud that you decided to break the cycle or regret that you stayed comfortable. That choice is happening right now. Stop waiting for a sign. This is the sign. Stop asking if you are capable. You are. Stop asking how long it will take. Start. Average is crowded. Excellence is lonely, but it is free. And remember this one line because it can change everything. You don't become extraordinary by doing extraordinary things once. You become extraordinary by doing ordinary things with uncommon discipline every single day. That's how the cycle breaks. That's how average ends.